daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
Lead us not into temptation.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Today's scripture reading will come from Ecclesiastes 12, 13 and 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Fear God.
Fear God.
And keep his commandments.
And fear his commandments.
This is the whole duty of man.
This is the whole duty of man.
For God shall bring every work into judgment.
For God shall bring every work into judgment.
Every secret thing.
Every secret thing.
Whether it be good.
Whether it be good.
Or whether it be evil.
Or whether it be evil.
Again, I read from Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 13 and 14. And may the Lord add a blessing to the reading, hearing, and doing of his word. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. We have a couple selections from the choir.
Happy Sabbath, Jesus family. You thought I was saving. You came to save my life. You thought I was leaving. So you cleaned me up inside. You thought I was shy. So you sacrificed your life. So I can be free. So I can be whole. So I can let everyone know. You thought I was worth saving. So you came to change my life. You thought I was worth leaving. So you cleaned me up inside. You thought I was to die for. So you sacrificed your life. So I can be free. So I can be whole. So I can tell everyone I know. You thought I was perfect. So you came to change my life. You thought I was worth leaving. So you cleaned me up inside. You thought I was to die for. You sacrificed your life. So I can be free. So I can be whole. So I can tell everyone I know. You thought I was worth saving. So you came to change my life. You thought I was worth keeping. So you cleaned me up inside. You thought I was to die for. So you sacrificed your life. So I can be free. So I can be whole. So I can tell everyone I know. Hallelujah. Oh, glory. To the God who saves my life. And I will praise you. I'll worship you. I'll give you glory. I'll give you praise because I am free, because I am whole, and I will tell everyone I know. Hallelujah. Oh, glory. To the God who changed my life, and I will praise you. I'll worship you. I'll give you glory. Cause you deserve it. You deserve it, Lord. Forever. I'll praise you. Because I am free. Because I am whole. And I will were keeping till you cleaned me up inside. You thought I was to die for. Thank you, Lord. You thought I was to die for. And I'm so grateful. You thought I was to die for. You sacrificed your life. You sacrificed your life. Thank you, Lord. Oh, I can be free.
If you see this plant in your backyard, don't step on it. This neglected plant is more delicious and nutritious than most gardens.
All right, let's give the sister another round of applause. Excellent selection. I want to say praise the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Peace to everyone that's here, physical and spiritual Israel, as well as those that are watching live on YouTube or wherever these words reach your ears on God's Sabbath day. Peace to you as well. And happy Sabbath, everyone. So, today's lesson, the title is Getting Mad and Breaking Bad, Not Good. Getting mad and breaking bad, not good. So almost immediately this morning, when I finally had in my head what I was going to do for this lesson, Satan started messing with me. So, you know, and it's a typical thing. I could just imagine Satan's like, oh, so you're going to talk about me today, huh? So I'm going to mess with you. And it's been that way ever since I left the house. Ended up leaving the house, left my laptop, which I usually do, studying on. So I left that at the house. Then, just the normal irritations of the morning around the house, that's in there. So, and then, on the drive here, traffic, people stopping and starting and pulling in front of me. And I'm like, see, he's going to be nonstop on me today, but I'm going to get through this lesson. We're going to get through this lesson. So getting mad and breaking bad, not good. All right, so we're talking about this, there are reasons, there's several reasons why humans get angry about things. So human anger arises from a number of different reasons, some which are acceptable, and others which are simply not acceptable. So I don't want to say there's a good angry and the bad angry, because being angry is not healthy, for you at all. But there are reasons that the Lord would look at and say, okay, I understand why this individual is angry. And there's reasons that he would look at you and say, no, that he's went overboard, or he shouldn't be angry. And these scriptures stress the potential destructive aspects of human anger. And the scriptures also urges you to moderate your anger. It wants you to be able to put your anger in its proper place. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So we're going to start out looking at reasons for human anger. Reasons for human anger. And there's three that I'm going to talk about. The first set of scripts is going to be showing you reasons to be angry, or reasons for anger. And that reason, or that category of reasons, is under jealousy. People get angry because they're jealous. Another one is pride. People get angry because they let their pride get in the way. And another one, the third one I'm going to talk about, is the truth. People can get angry because of the truth sometimes. So we're going to look at that. All right. So let's start out with jealousy. Let's start off in Genesis chapter 4 and verse 4. Genesis chapter 4 in verse 4. I know there's a lot of scripts here, 40 scripts, but there's a whole lot of one-hitter quitters in here, so we'll move right through this. This won't take no time at all. Genesis 4, chapter 4, verse 4. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and of his offering. But unto Cain and unto his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth.
And Cain was very what?
Fell. Cain was very wroth. And his countenance fell.
So the Lord had respect unto Abel, or I'm going to say more respect under Abel's offering than he did Cain. And Cain didn't like that. He was very wrathful, it says, right? So we see how he got mad over jealousy. Jealousy is what caused him to get angry. Okay, let's go to the next example. 1 Samuel 17. 16. 1 Samuel 16. First Samuel 16, we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Are there any extra lesson plans? Was there any extra? Yeah, I don't have one. And if I rely on my notes, my chicken scratches will be all over the place. All right. 1 Samuel 16, verse 1. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil and go, and I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons.
Come on.
And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, take an heifer with thee, and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord.
So just to summarize here. So Saul is done messed up enough with the Lord that the Lord has decided, all right, I'm going to remove Saul as king, and I'm going to put somebody else in his place. So Samuel, seeing how Saul's done got crazy, is afraid to go because he doesn't want Saul to kill him. So the Lord's telling him, hey, go up there and tell him you're going to make a sacrifice. It's going to be all right. Go, verse 3.
Verse 3. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show thee what thou shalt do. And thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. And Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, comest thou peaceably? And he said, peaceably, I come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons and called them to the sacrifice.
Okay, so Samuel's in town and he's accomplished what he went there to do. He's invited Jesse and Jesse's sons to this sacrifice to, under the guise of doing just a sacrifice, but he's really here to look over Jesse's sons and pick out the new king. All right, go ahead, verse 6.
And it came to pass when they were come, that they looked at Eliab and said, surely the Lord anointed is before him. Okay,
now this is the one that I wanted to focus on. Eliab, the oldest, he is the eldest son of Jesse. He is David's brother, King David's brother, but he is the oldest of Jesse's sons. And Eliab is the one that I want to focus here on. So skip down to verse 7. Go ahead, verse 7.
But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Okay, so now the natural order of things, the eldest son is the one that usually receives the blessings. He's usually the one that receives the inheritance. He's the one that things come to first, that eldest son. So when Jesse's sons are presented to Samuel and Eliab is looked over, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem in the family. They're going to be like, what in the world's going on here? And the Lord is telling Samuel,
hey, he says, don't look on him because his countenance or his height or his stature, because I have refused him. He's not the one, Eliab is not the one the Lord is looking for. So the Lord said, for the Lord seeth not the man, not as a man seeth, for a man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. So evidently, Eliab's heart wasn't right with the Lord. It wasn't what the Lord was looking for, right? So now let's skip down to into chapter 17. Into chapter 17 and verse 28. Now remember, we're looking at one of the ways you become angry, or not one, a reason for being angry, reasons for angry, and we're looking at jealousy here. 17 and 28. So let's see the jealousy in Eliab. So now we've jumped down to, through some things here. So Israel is being attacked or at war with the Philistines, right? And so Goliath is calling out a champion. So Goliath's out there running his mouth reckless and calling out these champion. And David hears this giant out there, this uncircumcised, calling out Israel, and wants to know how come nobody's going out there, to battle with him. So now David has, he's chimed in, and said some things, and Eliab heard David. So what does he say? Verse 28.
And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he had spoken to the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, why comest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thine heart, for thou hast come down that thou mightest see at the battle.
So Eliab starts attacking David. He has no reason, if it wasn't for this jealousy between him and David. Now he has no reason to be mad at David. He said, why are you, you coming here speaking up? He said, why don't you go down hither and tend to them sheep, them few little sheep, talking bad to him. Go on back here and tend to your little sheep and sit down and be quiet. It's because I know thy pride and I know your naughtiness. You just come down here, you just want to see the battle. So Eliab's anger is built up with him because of jealousy. It's all because of some jealousy, right? You can take time, you can read all that on your own. Let's keep going though. Go into chapter 18 and verse 8. 18 and verse 8. Now this is a jealousy, and what we have here is Saul. Saul has just heard David has come back from battle, and David has slain a whole bunch of people, and the people are singing out. The women, more particularly, the women are singing out. Read verse 7. Go ahead and read verse 7.
And the women answered one another as they played and said, Saul hath slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s.
So no man with any testosterone in him is going to want to hear that. Okay, so he killed his 10,000, but I don't kill 1,000, right? Okay, I see how that is. So what's Saul verse 8? What's his demeanor?
And Saul was very wroth, and the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed but thousands. And what can he have more but the kingdom? So
you see how that jealousy plays out, and it causes him to be angry with David. And this is the beginning. This is all the beginning of the strife and the beef between David and Saul, all over some jealousy. If that jealousy if he didn't allow that green-eyed monster to take over, a lot of these events would have never happened between Saul and David. So this is another example or a reason of anger getting in the way. 1 Kings 21. 1 Kings 21. Now this example, Ahab, he has spotted King Ahab. He spotted Naboth's vineyard, right? And Naboth's vineyard obviously was a really nice vineyard. It was really well taken care of. It was something to be desired, so much that Ahab coveted Nahab's vineyard, or Naboth's vineyard. Okay, so he wanted so bad that let's see, chapter 21, verse 4. Let's see what it say here. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will not give thee the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down unto his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. So
because Ahab was jealous of his of Naboth's vineyard, he got so mad and so angry he got to go lay down. He couldn't even eat. You see what I'm saying? So that jealousy in there, jealousy over another man's vineyard. I mean, I've never owned a vineyard. I don't think I've even been in one, but I can't imagine they're gonna be that, that blinged out, or that whatever it was to make a man so mad he can't eat meat. And then, this, because of this jealousy, it ends up getting Naboth killed because his wife gets involved. So, again, not controlling your jealousy, leading to anger, leading to someone's death. So you gotta be mindful of these things. Luke 15. Luke 15. Pick it up at verse 25. Luke 15 and verse 25. Now this is again, I'll just to save time, I didn't have him read all this. Probably could, because like I said, these are one hitters. It's not a whole lot here. You know what? What did I have you start? 25.
25.
Nah, I ain't gonna do it. The parable of the lost son. So this certain man has two sons. One of the sons, wants to start feeling himself and soiling his royal oats, get out there and see the world. So he's asking for his portion of the inheritance. So the father gives his portion of the inheritance, and he goes out and he starts living wild. He starts living wild, reckless, footloose, and fancy free, as they say. And so when he comes back, the father is going to make special provisions to give him, a feast and to welcome him back. Well, the eldest son isn't quite down with that. He don't feel that's quite right, because this cat's been away doing whatever he wants to, living reckless, and probably sinning, doing all kinds of sin against the Lord. But the other son, he's stayed home with the father. He's tended to the ranch. He's minded his P's and Q's. He's taken care of business, and he doesn't feel that he has received this kind of treatment. So he sounds off a little bit. And this is where we pick it up at verse 25. Go ahead.
Now his elder son was in the field, and he came and drew nigh to the house. He heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him.
So you see right off the bat, he's so angry, he's not even going to go in there and partake of this feast that the father's doing, presenting to his other son. Is that jealousy? But go ahead.
29.
Come on.
And he answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed I at any time thy commandment. Yet thou never givest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as thy son was come, which had devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf.
So you see that jealousy in there. So he feels like he should be he feels like he should be what's the word I'm looking for? Celebrated. He should be celebrated for his good, chaste living. Whereas this other brother who comes back is doing all these things. Oh, now we're going to celebrate him. So we see how anger gets in the way This jealous anger gets in the way and keeps him from celebrating his brother's return. He doesn't see the big picture. All right, so the next one. The next reason for human anger is pride. We're going to look at pride. We're going to go to Jonah 4. Actually, Jonah 3 and 10. All right, Jonah 3. And we're going to pick it up at verse 10 and then go right into chapter 4. 3 and 10. All right, go ahead.
And God saw their works, that they had turned from their evil ways, and God repented of the evil that he had said that he would do unto them, and he did it not.
Okay, so we've all read this multiple times, but just to refresh, because we just start in the middle. So God sent Jonah to Nineveh to warn them of their impending destruction because of their wicked ways. And the king of Nineveh hearkened unto the words of Jonah and repented and made everybody in the town repent. And it was a sincere repentance to a point where he called a fast and even made the animals to fast. So this was a hard repentance. And verse 10 said, and God saw their works, that they turned from their evil way. And then God himself repented of the evil that he pronounced to do on Nineveh. Now, pride, talking about pride. Jonah did not like Nineveh, so much so that he tried to run from the Lord. So much so that he risked himself getting swallowed by a whale to keep from going to Nineveh. So he is not pleased with this. Jonah does not like this. So verse 4, chapter 4, verse 1, go ahead.
But it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he was very angry.
He was very what?
Angry.
He was very angry. Go ahead.
And he prayed unto the Lord and said, I pray thee, O Lord, was not this my saying, when I was yet in my country. Therefore I fared before unto Tarshish, for I knew that thou art a gracious God and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness.
So okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, keep going.
And repentest thee of the evil.
Right. So Jonah said, "Look, didn't this what I told you when I was back there?" He said, "I knew you was gonna do this." He said, "I knew if I got here and I told them that you," he said, "O Lord, was not this my saying when I was yet in my country? Therefore I fled before Tarshish. For I knew that thou art gracious God and merciful, slow to anger and great kindness." I knew they was going to turn and you would repent from your evil. He said, Jonah said, I knew it. He wanted God to destroy Nineveh down to nothing. But so when God repented, this angered Jonah, and he's got this pride because obviously I can't read it, but there's some kind of beef between Jonah and Nineveh. So, like I said, we just, so much so that he tried to flee to another country to get around this. So so Jonah's pride is getting in the way because he should have been happy that they repented from their evil. That should have been something to celebrate, right? But no, because he's angry and because this pride, and as the scriptures tell you, pride is the reason for contention or strife. If it wasn't for that pride, the strife and the contention goes away. But Jonah can't get over his anger with these guys. And now he's kind of upset and angry with the Lord and talking reckless. Verse 3.
Therefore now, O Lord, take, I beseech thee, my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live.
You see how mad he is? He's so mad, Lord, just kill me. I can't stand to see you not take them out. What kind of mad you got to be on for that? You got to be on a real mad for that. Go ahead and take my life, he said. Verse 4.
Then said the Lord, doest thou well to be angry? So Jonah went out of the city and sat on the east side of the city, and there made him a booth and sat under it in the shadow, till he might see what will become of the city. Now,
I can't decide in my mind if this is a pout move or, I mean, because he obviously he mad, but did he go out here to pout, or is he, he contemplating on doing because he angry? Is he contemplating on doing something? I can't never decide in my mind what it is, but he's out here, sitting under this little booth that he made to get out of the sun. It says, and sat under it in the shadow, and till he might see what would become of the city, because he's still holding hope the Lord's going to destroy him. Verse 6.
Verse 6. And the Lord God prepared a gird and made it come up over Jonah, that it might be a shadow over his head to deliver him from his grief. So Jonah was exceeding glad of the gird.
The gourd. So you see, the Lord, he's gonna make a point, but he's dramatic a lot of times the way he does stuff like this. So Jonah's out there on this mad, and so the Lord has grown up this gourd. It's probably I forget what the plant is called, but it's something like, it's not just like the gourd like we imagine, like a big pumpkin or whatever, those squashes type things. It's not that. It's more of a vine type plant that's grown up, and it's giving Job shade, or Jonah shade. So now he's got this shade, and it says, and it's grew over him to deliver him from his grief because it's hot. So Jonah was exceeding glad for this gourd over his head. He's glad for this shade out of the sun. Now the Lord's going to switch it up on him here. Verse 8.
Verse 7.
I'm sorry, verse 7.
But God prepared a worm when the morning rose the next day, and it smote the gourd that it withered.
So the Lord withered it up. Go ahead, verse 8.
And it came to pass when the sun did arise, that God prepared a vehement east wind, and the sun beat upon the head of Jonah, that he fainted, and wished himself to die, and said, it is better for me to die than to live. So
now since the shade is gone, the Lord has brought this wind in here, and this wind is beating him up, and the sun is shining down on him, and it's caused, it's so bad that Jonah as it says, he fainted, and he said he wished himself to die. Now, how you got? I can't. I mean, I've been mad before. I've been mad at somebody long, for a while before, but I ain't never been on this kind of mad where I'm wishing I would die, because they're not. That's a mad he's got going on there. But so he's so upset. He said, better for me to die than to live. Verse 9.
And God said unto Jonah, doest thou well to be angry over the gourd? And he said, I do well to be angry, even unto death.
So, I'm telling you, Jonah's he's on a crazy mad. He said, yeah, the Lord said, hey, look, is it well for you to be angry for the gourd? He said, yeah, I should be angry for the gourd, even so mad until I can die over it. But verse 10, what'd he say?
Then said the Lord, thou hast had pity on the gourd, for the which thou hast not labored, neither made its grow, which came up in night and perished in the night.
So the Lord breaking it down. So look, you got pity on the gourd. You didn't bring the gourd up. You didn't raise the gourd. It's, you got no personal relationship, no personal interest in the gourd. Matter of fact, it belongs to someone else, because someone else planted this gourd. But you got pity on that. You got pity and mercy on the gourd. He says, and then verse 11, go ahead.
And should I not spare Nineveh, the great city?
Then the Lord is going to, he's going to break it down from the spiritual aspect of it to the real here. He's going to, try and make Jonah see the light. We're top 11. Go ahead.
And should I not spare Nineveh, the great city, wherein are more than 6,000 persons that cannot discern between their right hand and their left hand, and also much cattle? So
the Lord said, look, it's the same for Nineveh. I understand you didn't raise Nineveh. You ain't got no stake in Nineveh. You don't take care of them. So what you got to be mad at them for? This is another man's city. And just because they got a few bad worms in there, that's no reason to destroy it all. So look here, Jonah, don't be upset about that. Instead, you should be thankful and happy that they turn from their evil ways. But no, he can't, because of his anger and because of his pride. Most of all, he can't see that. All right, let's keep going. 2 Kings 5. 2 Kings 5. All right, 2 Kings 5, and we're going to pick it up at verse 9. 9. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so again, I jumped in the middle of this. So what's happening here is Naaman is a captain of hosts for the king of Syria, and Naaman, mighty warrior, man of good standing in his little ilk. But the only problem with him is that he has leprosy. So after this battle, the king of Syria is going to try to reward Naaman, and he sends him to the king of Israel because he heard that there's a prophet in Israel who could cure Naaman of this leprosy. So Naaman goes over to the king, or ends up going to the king of Israel. The king of Israel sends him over to Elisha. And, when we start off here, you can see Naaman's, his pomp and his pride, his pride and his stature and his position. Pick it up at verse 9 and go ahead.
So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. So
Naaman, if he's really interested in getting his leprosy cured, which I'm sure he is, but if it was that, this should be the most important thing on his mind. So showing up, I know if I got a problem I want to fix, it's going to be me. I'm going in there. But no, he got to show up with all his horses and his chariots and make this a big event. You know what I'm saying? So he's showing his pride. He's showing his pride and his stature. So he shows up at the door of Elisha, and watch how Elisha treats him. This all cracked me up. Go ahead.
And Elisha sent the messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean.
So Elisha don't even come out the house. He said, man, go out there and tell that fool, go out there and dip himself in Jordan 7 times and wash yourself and make yourself clean and go on about your business. That'd be all. But that's not good enough. See, Naaman's expecting he's expecting a big show. He's expecting a spectacle here. Make a show of this healing. So the messenger comes out there, tells him, wash in Jordan 7 times, your flesh will be clean. Verse 11. Now how does Naaman react to this? Go ahead.
But Naaman was wroth.
What he got to be mad about? What's he got to be mad about? All you got to do is go out here and wash himself in Jordan 7 times, and he's all good. So what's there to be mad about? Go ahead.
But Naaman was wroth and went away and said, Behold, I thought, he will surely come out to me and stand.
So he expected Elisha to come out the house to him. Go ahead.
And call on the name of the Lord his God.
And make a big spectacle of calling on the name of the Lord his God. Go ahead.
And strike his hand over the place.
And make a show, striking his hand over the place, and maybe some fireworks and dry smoke and all the things, right? Go ahead.
And recover the leper.
And recover the leper and heal me before everybody, in front of all these horses and chariots I brought, and make a show out of this. That's what he should have done. Verse 12.
Are not Abana and Pharpar rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel?
And so now, his mad is showing. She said, and furthermore, aren't Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, aren't they better than this river Jordan? He expected me to go down here to the river Jordan and dip myself 7 times in that? It's probably, we ain't got ain't really got no bad rivers out here. Back home where I'm come from, you got the Missouri River, there's a major river, and the Mississippi River. And you just looking at that's not something you want to even dip your toe in. You know what I mean? Because it's muddy and nasty looking. Rivers out here, they all be clean, crystal clear, and you can see the bottom in them. So he probably looking at Jordan kind of like that. I ain't trying to dip in that Jordan, and not just once, but 7 times. Come on. So he's upset about this. So he picking on. He said, "Look, I ain't doing that. But go ahead.
May I not wash them and be clean?" So he turned and went away in rage.
So he turned around and went away in his rage. He's so upset about the wrong things that he don't even, becoming clean of his leprosy ain't even the forefront of his mind anymore. That's not even what he's thinking about anymore. So he turned away in his rage. But there's usually, if you're smart or you're in some kind of position, you got somebody around you that got some sense in their head. So they're gonna bring him back to his senses. Verse 13.
And his servant came near and spake unto him and said, My father, if the prophet had bid thee to do some great thing, wouldest thou not have done it? How much rather then when he saith thee, wash and be clean?
So somebody with some common sense said, hey man, if the prophet had told you to go do some great thing, go out there and do backflips in front of the whole crowd and have them in awe. He said, would you not have done it? Would you not have done these great things? How much rather than when he said to thee, wash and be clean? Something simple. So he just told you to go and be washed and be clean, and you be clean. So should you not have done that? Verse 14.
Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God. And his flesh came again like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean.
So he had to overcome his pride. He had to overcome his pride. And once he did that, got over his pride, got over his mad, then he goes down and he washed himself and made himself clean, which was the goal in the first place. That's what he was after in the first place. But no, we let pride and we let anger get in the way and lose sight of the whole reason he even come down here to the River Jordan. All right. Next example, 2 Chronicles 26. Second Chronicles 26. We'll pick it up at verse 16. (26 and 16), right? Okay, so no, this ain't. Where am I at? That's right. 2 Chronicles 26 and 16, 26. Okay, yeah, that's right. All right, go ahead.
Verse 16. But when he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction, for he transgressed against the Lord his God, and went into the temple of the Lord to burn incense upon the altar of incense.
Okay, so again, just to save you guys some time, you're welcome. King Uzzah here, he's then got himself lifted up. He then gotten his heart prideful after he's a king of Judah. He's this, I believe this was after battle, but he's lifted himself up, and so much so that he has gone into the temple of the Lord and started to mess with the incense, to burn incense. Now, you guys, I talk about God's holy things a whole lot, and how you got to be specific, and you got to follow his plans or God's regulations precisely. Okay, so first of all, Uzziah, he is not a Levite. He ain't got no business messing with these incense, right? Matter of fact, Nadab and Abihu, just because they didn't do the incense right, they got killed. They got killed for that. So Uzziah, thinking he's not, like I said, he's got his heart lifted up, and he's thinking, well, I'm king. I can go in here. I'm better than these Levites. I can go in here and start messing with these incense and this altar just because I'm king. So now this is where we're at. He's gone in here. He's starting to mess around with things he ain't got no business messing with. And you know the Lord don't play with his holy things. He don't play this. But there's pride in Uzziah. Where you at, bro?
17.
Go ahead.
And Azariah the priest went in after him, and with him 80 priests of the Lord that were valiant men.
So now they have, Uzziah has done managed to arouse the angry. I don't really think they're angry, but they're like, they know Uzziah ain't got no business in here. So he didn't come in here with 80 of these priests, and we know God's priests wasn't no punks. These are valiant men, he said. They come in here and they're going to stand in Uzziah's way. They ain't going to allow this to happen. Verse 18.
And they withstood Uzziah the king and said unto him, It appertaineth not unto thee, Uzziah, to burn incense unto the Lord.
What they're saying is because you're not a Levite. So this is not your job, Uzziah. You ain't supposed to be in here burning incense unto the Lord. But what?
But to the priests, the sons of Aaron, that are consecrated to burn incense. Go out of the sanctuary, for thou hast trespassed. Neither shall thou be for thine honor from the Lord God.
Neither shall it be for thine honor. You ain't got no business in here trespassing. So nothing you can do in here is to honor the Lord. So they're telling him, you better go on and get up out of here. Verse 19.
Then Uzziah was wroth.
So why he mad? What was he mad? They explained to him calmly, you ain't supposed to be in here. You're not a Levite. There's nothing in here you got to do that is to honor the Lord. This is the job of the Levites. So go and get out of here. So why he mad? He's out of his lane. So he ain't got no reason to be mad, right? Except that he got that pride puffed up in him. Except he think he king. He give him the right to go in here and do whatever he want to do. But you're gonna find out he's messing with the wrong. This guy don't play that. You don't care who you are. Go ahead.
19. Then Uzziah was wroth and had a censer in his hand to burn incense. And while he was wroth with the priests, the leprosy even rose up to his forehead before the priests in the house of the Lord from beside the incense altar. Even before he could start to walk out, before he could change his mind and become unmad or whatever, the leprosy start rising up on him already. It said, and had a censer in his hand to burn the incense. And while he was wroth with his priest, the leprosy even rose up in his forehead before the priest. And so it's all that leprosy's already up to his forehead. It's already up. It's showing, and that's a good spot to put leprosy on somebody, because everybody that's like, what's that pimple? The North Star. When you get that North Star, everybody notice that. But that's right there for everybody to see. Uzziah, you was in there doing something you had no business, huh? The Lord put this leprosy on you. But go ahead, where you at? 20.
Go ahead.
And Azariah the chief priest and the priests looked upon him, and behold, he was leprous in his forehead, and they thrust him out from thence. Yea, himself hasted also to go out, because the Lord had smitten him.
So that's all right. They see this leprosy on him, and remember, he's in this temple. There ain't supposed to be no leprous thing in there. It's not supposed to be nothing unclean in there. So they go ahead, take him and toss him out. Toss him right out on his back pockets. No, go ahead, verse 21.
And Uzziah the king was a leper unto the day of his death, and dwelt in a several house, being a leper.
So he's a leper from the day of his death. All this for pride. All this was not worth it. Whatever he went to this temple for was not worth this. So now he's leper, and now he's banished. I don't want to say banished, but he has to stay in, it says, in a several house, being a leper. And we all went through that in 2020. We were all, forced to be in our several house because of COVID. In other words, quarantine. That's what Uzziah is here. When it says, and dwell in a several house, in other words, he is quarantined to this house, being a leper. For what?
For he was cut off from the house of the Lord, and Jotham his son was over the king's house, judging the people of the land.
So you see, pride, letting pride get in the way sometimes, it can really cost you everything. And then they don't care if you king or not. You lepers, you got to stay separate. You got to get on up out of here. 2 Chronicles 16. Mess with the Lord's holy thing. He lost his mind. Second Chronicles 16. We're going to pick it up at verse 7. Now, this is an example. So we've gone over reasons for human anger. We've gone over jealousy, and we just went over pride. Now, I'm going to reason for being angry, the truth. How the truth can make you angry sometimes. And that's not always, it's not always good. You know, just because you tell somebody the truth doesn't always invoke a happy response from them, or the response that you expect. So you have to think about it. So we're going to look at another reason to be angry, the truth. Here we are, 2 Chronicles 16, and we're going to pick it up at verse 7. Hanani, the prophet, has been sent to Asa to tell him the truth. Go ahead.
And at the time, Hanani the seer came to Asa, king of Judah, and said unto him, because thou hast relied on the king of Syria, and not relied on the Lord thy God, therefore the host of the king of Syria escaped out of thy hand. Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubans a huge host, with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet, because thou didst rely on the Lord, he delivered them into thine hand. So Hanani is sent to Asa to tell him this, you know, to make Asa understand. See, because you didn't rely on the Lord, now I'm going to have to, you know, I'm going to have to do something to you. So Hanani here's just telling the truth. All he's doing is telling Asa what the Lord has told him to do. You think he can't be in the wrong, right? Hanani should not be in the wrong in this. There should be no consequences to him for telling the truth. But you can't always tell some people the truth. You definitely don't want to play with the truth. You want to tell the truth at all times, but sometimes maybe you want to keep truth to yourself. You know, maybe discretion is the better part of valor. Maybe instead of telling this person the truth, I'll just keep my mouth shut. But Hanani here, he didn't have a choice. The Lord told him to go tell him, so he got to go tell him. So he's going to go tell the truth in every bit of it. Verse 9. Verse 9. Go ahead. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards him, wherein thou hast done foolishly. Therefore, from henceforth thou shalt have wars. Then so the Lord's telling Asa, so now he says, you didn't rely on me, you went and did this thing on your own, and now the punishment is, hereon you are going, he said, you done foolishly, and from henceforth thou shalt have wars. Now what? Now, Asa has nobody to be mad at but himself, right? Now Hanani's just a messenger. That's all. The Lord just sent him to tell the message, to tell the truth, right? So Asa should have no reason to be mad at anybody but himself. But verse 10, what happens here when after the truth has been let out? Then Asa was wroth with the seer. So Asa is wroth with the seer. Why you got to be mad at the seer? What the seer do besides tell him the truth, right? Go ahead. And put him in a prison house. For he was enraged with him because of this thing. And Asa oppressed some of the people at the same time. So Asa gets on him mad because he heard the truth about himself and his actions. And he goes and prisons the seer. And then he goes and oppresses the people on top of that. What the people do to him? They wasn't nowhere around this. But yet he going to oppress the people. So that show you sometimes you let your anger get the best of you, and you don't make no good decisions after that. Everything just goes downhill from that point on. But here we see again the truth, just being told the truth was enough to set this man crazy. So sometimes, like I caution my wife and I caution my daughters, sometimes, it's not always to tell somebody the truth. Maybe you should just be silent. Just be still. Let them figure it out themselves, because, telling the truth sometimes might get you a black eye. Just might get you popped in the face. Then I'm going to get involved, because I ain't going to have nobody hitting my daughters, and then I'm going to go to jail.
And you know, it's just it's all bad from there. Numbers 24 and verse 10, right? I think it's just one verse here. All right, Numbers 24 and verse 10. Now this example, there's a whole lot to this, but so Balak heard or knew that the Lord was leading Israel through the wilderness, and they're getting ready to come through his land, and he didn't like that. He did not want that. So he sent for Balaam to come down and to curse Israel. He wanted to curse Israel, and then Balaam didn't even want to go. The Lord told him, "So now you got to go down there, and this is what I want you to do when you go down there. And every time he asks you to curse him, I want you to bless Israel." So Balaam is only doing what the Lord told him to do. So he's going to tell the truth. Once again, he's telling the truth, and we're going to see how Balak reacts to it. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam.
That was, again, why he mad at Balaam? All Balaam has done is just told him what the Lord told him to say. He told the truth. But Balak's anger was kindled against him. Go ahead.
And he smote his hands together. And Balak said unto Balaam, I call thee to curse mine enemies. And behold, thou hast altogether blessed them these 3 times.
Now, see, you can't, a person, he could not reasonably expected Balaam to go against the Lord. You know, and say, no, okay, well, I'm gonna do what you say instead of the Lord. No, you can't reasonably expect that. And so I know that Balaam could not have reasonably expected Balak's reaction to being told the truth, or being told, what thus saith the Lord was going to be this way. But again, you never know. But this is just an example. I'm just showing you an example of how the truth or how following the Lord can invoke someone's anger sometimes. And I know you probably all have been able to relate to this. Just being here on the Sabbath day is probably enough to enrage some of your family members, because they're sitting at home thinking, why he wasting their time over there on Saturday when Sunday, we all know that the Lord broke bread on the first day of the week over there in that cold. And they know good and doggone well them baby back pork ribs are good. Throwing my good shrimp in the trash. But try telling the truth, and next thing you know, you ain't invited over no more. And they calling you all kinds of N words and all kinds of stuff. Where are we going? Jeremiah 37. Jeremiah 37. So you got to be careful. You don't just walk up to Uncle Joe when he's got them pork ribs on the grill and tell him, no, you eat that, you going to hell. It's going to be a fight. You got to keep that truth to yourself for the time being. Jeremiah 37 and 15. Here's another example. All Jeremiah doing is telling the truth, and he is mistreated. 37 and verse 15. Go ahead.
Wherefore the princes were wroth with Jeremiah and smote him, and put him in prison in the house of Jonathan the scribe, for they had made that the prison. When Jeremiah was entered into the dungeon and into the cabins, and Jeremiah had remained there many days. Okay, so Jeremiah, the Lord has sent Jeremiah to warn Israel. He's multiple times, just time after time, rising up, like he said, rising up early and going and trying to warn Israel. And Hezekiah, I think it's Zedekiah is to warn Zedekiah, look, if Israel don't change his ways, the king of Babylon is going to come and swallow you up. And so Jeremiah only doing what the Lord said, only going and telling the truth, is getting punished for this. And now they actually lied on him, and smote him, put him in prison, and now he's been there many days. Now verse 17. Then Zedekiah the king sent and took him out, and the king asked him secretly in his house, and said, Is there any word from the Lord?
So no, because Zedekiah knows that Jeremiah's a prophet, but so he's gonna get him out of prison secretly, so nobody else see him consorting with Jeremiah. He said, "Hey, is there any word from the Lord?" And what Jeremiah say?
And Jeremiah said, there is. For said he, thou shalt be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon.
So Jeremiah told him the same thing. He's been telling him all along. You're going to be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon. Now Jeremiah, before we can see Jeremiah's his frustration, because he said, look, he at times we read, he's tried to be still. He tried to keep his mouth shut and not preach the Lord, but it's like fire in his bones, and he can't help himself but to get out there and spread the word and to tell people what thus saith the Lord. And Jeremiah was fed up with it. And so now we see again Jeremiah's frustration with only doing what thus saith the Lord and telling people when he's told to tell them. And now he's gonna let loose on Zedekiah here. He's gonna let him know his frustration. Verse 18.
Moreover, Jeremiah said unto King Zedekiah, what have I offended against thee, or against thy servants, or against this people, that ye have put me in prison?
So Jeremiah says, so what have I done to cause you to put me in prison? Why am I here? I haven't done nothing to you. I ain't did nothing to these people. So why am I in this prison? Verse 19.
Where are now your prophets which prophesied unto you, saying, the king of Babylon shall not come against you, nor against this land?
So he's showing his indignation. He said, look, where are your prophets that have been telling you all this? Where are your false lying prophets, as a matter of fact, that have been telling you all this time that the king of Babylon is not going to get here, is not going to be here? Now, he said, he's looking around. He don't see none of these lying false prophets. And actually, the king of Babylon is at Israel's very doorstep. But yet, Jeremiah is in prison for telling the truth. When Babylon's at the doorstep and Jeremiah's words have been proven true, he's like, why am I here in prison for telling the truth? And these lying prophets ain't nowhere to be seen. Where are they at? So that's why Jeremiah's indignant. But go ahead.
20.
Yeah, right? Or was that it? No, that was it. Okay, yeah, that's all. So we see here, telling the truth did not benefit Jeremiah, but he didn't have no choice, of course. But I'm just showing you how the truth can invoke sometimes people's anger and a different reaction than what you might expect. All right, now let's keep moving. Exodus 32. Exodus 32. So that was the last example of reasons humans get angry. We had jealousy, pride, and the truth. Now we're going to look at when human anger is justified, when you are justified in being angry. So that's what we're going to look at now. Exodus 32, and pick it up at verse 19. All right, go ahead.
And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh into the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moses' anger waxed hot.
Okay, so we know we've read this before. So Moses, he's done been up communing with the Lord. The Lord, had a good time up there, him and Joshua, and they come down. They got these tablets of stone, these tables of stone with the commandments written by the finger of God on them. And he come down, and all these Hebrews are down here dancing naked around this calf they done made. Right? So he said Moses' anger waxed hot. Go ahead.
And he cast the tables out of his hand and break them beneath the mount.
So he's so mad, he tossed these tables of stone and breaks them. So here, would you agree that Moses' anger is justified? You come down here and see these Hebrews acting crazy. So yeah, he got every right to be mad, right? So this is justifiable anger, right? All right. So let's go Exodus 11 and 8. I mean, it's only human nature. You see, you're doing all you can to lead these Hebrews, and they just gonna dance around a calf naked. Ain't got no sense. Exodus 11 and verse 8, 11 and 8. So this is already after Moses has, he's done what the Lord said, and he's been to Pharaoh back and forth multiple times, and the Lord has hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he's going to bring this one last plague on Pharaoh. And Moses started, well, not starting, but Moses getting mad about this. He's had enough of this. So he's brought this one last plague on Egypt. Verse 8, go ahead.
And all these thy servants shall come down unto me, and bow down themselves unto me, saying, Get thee out, and all the people that follow thee, and after that I will go out.
Okay, so Moses he's telling Pharaoh, he said, after this plague comes, he says, and all thy servants shall come down unto us and bow down themselves unto me, saying, Go ahead and get on up out of here. We're tired of you and these plagues. Take you and your people, get up out of here. So this is Moses telling the Pharaoh that. He says, and after that I will go out. And then what?
And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger.
And so he went out, my point is he left Pharaoh in great anger. But why is he mad? Because he has to keep going through this. He had to keep going. He had to keep telling Pharaoh, look, you need to release the people so they can go sacrifice. You need to, do this. But it's time after time after time. Don't you get mad when you got to tell your kids, stop leaving your toys in the middle of the floor. Don't leave the refrigerator door wide open. When you go in there and get your food, get your snack, close the refrigerator door. Don't let me come in this kitchen and the refrigerator door be wide open. It's things over in time. You keep telling them, that's going to invoke your anger, right? So that's another example of justifiable anger, right? Telling somebody something over and over again, and they ain't getting it. Exodus 16. Exodus 16. This particular one here gets me. Exodus 16 and 20. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank, and Moses was wroth with them.
Okay, so what's happening here? Moses, this is the bread is coming down, the manna from heaven, and Moses is giving them the instruction, letting them know, say, hey, this is what you do and you don't do. He says you can gather all that you can eat for you today. He said, eat what eat to your fill. He said, but don't save none of it until morning. Don't keep none of it till morning. So don't let me come in here and you got some saved over. That ain't gonna work. Don't keep any of it till morning. And of course, some hard head had to keep some left over. And it said, but some of it left until morning, and the bread and worms, and it stank. And Moses was wroth with them. Then I don't know how many times I just told you just tell somebody don't do something, then they go and do it, and then catastrophe, and all you can just stand there and just look at them. Like, what did I not just tell you that was going to happen? But you did it anyway. Happened to me at work this week, and I don't know what's wrong with people. It's like I'm standing here, words coming out of my mouth, and I'm the only one that can hear them. Number 16 and 15. Don't let especially if I know I'm right. When I'm telling you something and I know I'm right, and you still don't listen, and then maybe it's just me. Number 16 and 15. Go ahead.
And Moses was very wroth.
Moses mad again. Go ahead.
And said unto the Lord, respect not thou their offering.
Okay, so the background on this. So Moses mind his business like always. And Korah, is it Korah or Kohath? Kohath, I think it is, right? Yeah, Kohath. So Kohath, they run up on Moses and Aaron, and they think they ought to have more position or more authority or whatever. And so they start running Moses down. And Moses got mad about this. He's talking to the Lord. He's on such a mad, he's talking to the Lord. He said, don't even respect their offering, Lord. And go ahead.
I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them.
I haven't done nothing to them to deserve them to be mad at me. So we see Moses being accused falsely is he's gotten an anger. So here again, is this not a justifiable anger? right? Another reason why you can get angry and it be justified. All right, so let's go, keep going. Leviticus 10. Leviticus 10. See, these examples of anger, it's nothing you can do about that. I mean, there's no way to control yourself where you're not going to be hot about something like that. There's no way. When somebody walks up and slaps you in the face, that's instant heat. That's instant heat. There's no way to stop that. Leviticus 10 and verse 12. Leviticus 10 and verse 12. It's what you do with that heat that gets you in trouble with the Lord. That's where you got to be careful. Leviticus 10 verse 12. Go ahead.
And Moses spake unto Aaron and unto Eleazar and Ithamar, his sons that were left, take the meat offering that remaineth of the offering of the Lord made by fire, and eat it without leaven beside the altar, for it is most holy.
Okay, so here it again. Moses is speaking to Aaron, and he is talking to Eleazar and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. And it says the sons that were left, right? So he's letting you know this same day, Nadab and Abihu messing with the holy things, messing with the incense and not doing things right, and the Lord just killed them. So now Moses is trying to make sure that everything from that point on is done right, because he don't want nobody else to get killed because they don't do the Lord's holy things right. So he says to Aaron and to Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons that are left, take the meat offering that remaineth of the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and eat it without leaven beside the altar, for it is most holy. So that lets you know, if they don't follow these instructions, death can follow, right? So Moses said, paying attention, I'm telling you, there's going to be an adverse reaction if you don't do what I tell you here. Verse 13.
And ye shall eat it in the holy place, because it is thy due, and thy sons' due, of the sacrifice of the Lord made by fire.
Mm-hmm.
For so I am commanded.
So he's saying you got to do this. You got to do it here in the holy place, because it is due. It is thy due, thy sons' due, and the sacrifice of the Lord made by fire. He said, for so I am commanded. This wasn't just Moses' desire. He's letting him know the Lord has told me to tell you to do this. Okay, now skip down to verse 16 and go ahead.
And Moses diligently sought the goat of the sin offering, and behold, it was burnt.
So Moses checking up. He's diligently searching. So he's searching. So he is concerned. He is searching hard for this sin offering, this goat. And he said, and behold, it was burnt. It was burnt up. So they neglected. So Aaron and Eleazar and Ithamar have neglected to do the very thing Moses told them. See, they've neglected this and they've let it burn up on the altar. Go ahead.
And he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron, which were left alive, saying. So
now we see Moses is angry. Again, is he justified in his anger? Absolutely, because he just told them, take care of this. Do exactly what I say. Because if you don't, there's going to be consequences. So obviously, when you keep telling somebody time and time again, or you're very specific with your instructions. My wife, she gets, because everybody gets mad at her for being specific when she's telling them, okay, I want you to do the dishes. I want you to turn on the hot water, put the plug in the sink, then take the soap and pour the soap in there. Then put your dishes in. She giving all these instructions, and the kids are looking at her like, we know how to wash the dishes. But if she's not specific, it won't get done. It's the things won't get done. So and then they don't get done, and then she blows up, and we are like, well, why are you so mad? Well, she got justifiable anger. You've been telling her, told you exactly what needs to be done, but this is an example of that justifiable anger, right? So did we finish that? We got more. Verse 17, go ahead.
Wherefore have ye not eaten the sin offering in the holy place, seeing it is most holy, and God hath given it to you to bear the iniquities of the congregation, to make atonement for them before the Lord.
All right, so he asked him the question he wanted to know, but if you can read on your own, he understands why this didn't happen, why they didn't follow the instructions, because they were, they're so messed up over their brothers and grieving over them that they just wasn't on their right mind. But anyway, 1 Samuel, that's another lesson for another time. 1 Samuel 11. 1 Samuel 11. First Samuel 11, pick it up at verse 1. All right, go ahead.
Then Nahash the Ammonite came up and encamped against Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said unto Nahash, make a covenant with us, and we will serve thee.
Okay, so Nahash, he's the king of the the Ammonites, and they've come up to Jabesh Gilead, and one of the territories that Saul is king ruler over, and they're like, they're trying to make a covenant. They don't want to be destroyed, obviously, so they're asking Nahash to make a covenant with them, serve them, so they wouldn't be destroyed. Now, what is his response? How does he respond to them? Verse 2.
And Nahash the Ammonite answered them, on this condition, I will make a covenant with you, that I may thrust out all your right eyes and lay it for a reproach upon all Israel.
That's pretty harsh, ain't it? That's kind of rough. I'll make a covenant with you. I won't destroy you. Just let me put out all you guys' right eyes, and and lay it for a reproach against Israel. That's kind of a hard response. Verse 3. Go ahead.
And the elders of Jabesh said unto him, give us 7 days respite, that we may send messengers unto all the coasts of Israel. And then, if there be no man to save us, we will come out to thee.
So they asked for 7 days. So, all right, we will, give us 7 days to give you an answer. We're going to send a message. I don't know why they told them all this, but we're going to send a message and see if any of our peoples will come and save us. Verse 4.
Then came the messengers to Gibeah of Saul, and told the tidings in the ears of the people, and all the people lifted up their voices and wept.
Okay, so now the messengers have gotten to Gibeah, where Saul is residing, and the messenger telling the people is, and now because of this hard response from Nahash, this is that's pretty bad. So they're making all the people are crying out and they're weeping over this. Now Saul, he's out in the field and he hears this. Verse 5.
And behold, Saul came after the herd out of the field, and Saul said, what aideth the people that they weep? And they told him the tidings of the men of Jabesh. And the Spirit of God came upon Saul when he heard these tidings, and his anger was kindled greatly.
So when Saul heard this, the Spirit of God came up on him, and his anger was kindled. All right. Now, is this justifiable anger? I mean, Saul hears this, these people threaten to put out the right eyes of his people and all this kind of, some kind of crazy. Naturally, you'd be upset. Naturally, there's no way he cannot be mad about this. No way. So again, this is an example of justified anger. Justified anger. Did I have more here? Let's see. That's it. All right, good. All right. Saul's anger is kindled greatly. 2 Samuel 12. 2 Samuel 12. Another story that you all should be familiar with. 2 Samuel 12, pick it up at verse 1. So this is this is after David has, he done messed around. Or wait a minute, let me see. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah. No, wait a minute. Where am I at? I'm in 2 Kings. 2 Kings. Huh? Where am I at? 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel. All right. All right. 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel 12. And what I say? Verse 1. Yeah. All right. So this is after David had done messed up with Bathsheba and got Uriah killed and all that. And so now Nathan the prophet is going to put this story or this parable to David. Verse 12 or chapter 12, verse 1. Go ahead.
And the Lord sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor.
Mm-hmm.
The rich man was exceeding with many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing save one little ewe lamb.
Okay, so there's two men in this city. One is exceeding rich, the other's exceeding poor. So one man's got exceeding herds and flocks. The other man has got this one little ewe lamb, one little raggedy, mangy little ewe lamb. That's all he got. All right, go ahead.
Which he had brought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him
Mm-hmm.
and with his children, and it did eat of his own meat and drank of its own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was with him as a daughter.
So this little, even though it's a little old, mangy little ewe lamb, probably got mange and everything else under, but it's special to the poor man. It's so special. He's got it. What he say? It's got his own cup to drink out of. Eats his own meat and lay in his bosom. So he hugs and loves this little mangy ewe lamb, and it was unto him as a daughter. So this is special to this poor man, right? Verse 4.
And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared not to take of his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him.
Mm-hmm.
But he took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him.
Okay, so the rich man has a wayfaring man. He has a visitor come, to town or whatever. And instead of taking of his, since he's got an exceeding amount of cattle and livestock, instead of taking from him, he goes and takes that poor man's mangy little ewe lamb. He takes that and offers that as what is this, a sacrifice? No, he dressed it up. It says he dressed it for the man that was come. So he took that poor man's little mangy ewe lamb and dressed it up. Verse 5.
And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man.
So David hears this, and he naturally would be upset, right? That should be any decent person's natural reaction to this story, unless hey, that ain't right. Go get one of your own lambs. Don't take this poor man. This lamb is all he got. You're going to take that? So naturally David's anger is kindled. And this is a justifiable anger that David has, right? Now, we don't need to get into the hypocrisy of what this is actually about, but I'm just showing you justifiable and human nature, the justifiable anger in human nature. You can go ahead and finish that.
And he said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that have done this thing shall surely die.
So as surely as this man liveth, this man shall surely die, right? Verse 6.
And he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. So
David's anger in this matter is it's justifiable. We're not here to talk about his hypocrisy in this matter, but we see justifiable anger there. All right, Mark 3 and verse 1. Okay, Mark 3, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
And he entered again into the synagogue, and there was a man there which had a withered hand. And they watched him, whether he would heal him on the Sabbath day, that they might accuse him.
Okay, so as always, these Pharisees, they all, they're trying to trip Jesus up, and they just watch and they want to see if they can find something to accuse Jesus on. And so this man there standing here with the withered hand, they want to see, is he going to heal him on the Sabbath or not, right? Go ahead.
Verse 3.
Come on.
And he saith unto the man which had the withered hand, stand forth. And he saith unto them, Is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath day or to do evil, to save life or to kill? But they held their peace.
So he's asking him, you know, because he knows what's going on. He see what's going on here. This man with the withered hand, and they want to see, you know, is he gonna because in their mind he's doing work on the Sabbath. So they're gonna see, is he gonna heal? And he puts a question: is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath days or to do evil, to save life or to kill? Because people's minds don't be on the right stuff. We be on something different sometimes. Verse 5.
And when he had looked around about on them with anger, being grieved of the hardness of their hearts, he saith unto the man, stretch forth thine hand.
So the Lord, so Jesus looking around, it said he looked around about on them with anger, because instead of them being happy that he has the power to heal this man, they're playing games. They're playing games and trying to find some way to accuse him. So his anger, Jesus' anger, is aroused. So I'm asking, is this justifiable anger? Yeah, absolutely, it's justifiable. How can you not be? Because he said, like he said, they're he said, being grieved for the hardness of their hearts. They're you know, instead of having compassion for the man, you know, they're worried about some nonsense. They're on some nonsense. Where you at? Verse 6? At the verse 5. Go ahead.
And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored whole as the other. And the Pharisees went forth and straightway took counsel with the Herodians against him, how they might destroy him.
See, you know, because it was all about trying to trap Jesus. They wasn't in there for the right thing. They should put that man in there hoping that he would heal him. Genesis 4, verse 8. Genesis 4, and we're going to pick it up, verse 8. Now so that was the last example of justifiable anger. So now we're going to look at results of human anger. And one of the results of being angry is it causes strife. What did I say? 4 and 8. Okay. So being angry at someone, whether it be, you know, sometimes whether it be justified or not justified, it can create strife with another individual. So we're going to start looking at that. Genesis 4, verse 8. Go ahead.
And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him.
So we already saw where Cain was angry with Abel out of jealousy, right? So now that anger is developed into something where now he's going to slay his brother because he's got some strife. So that anger, that initial anger of jealousy has developed into a strife between him and his brother, so much to the point where the result of it now is murder. 1 Samuel 20. First Samuel 20, verse 30. 20 and 30. All right, go ahead.
Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, Thou son of perverse, rebellious woman, do not I know that thou hast chosen the son of Jesse to thine own confusion, and unto the confusion of thy mother's nakedness?
Okay, so David, obviously, or not David, but Saul. So we know Saul has got this beef with David. They know that has built up over time. It's because of jealousy. It starts off because of jealousy. Now this jealousy and this anger has developed into such a thing that now there's strife, huge strife between Saul and David. David don't want no smoke, but Saul's bent on it. Saul is bent on this. So go ahead and finish that.
31. For as long as the son of Jesse liveth on the ground, thou shalt not be established, nor thy kingdom. Wherefore now send and fetch him unto me, for he shall surely die.
So you see this is a huge strife. This is a huge strife between Saul and David. So and now just because Jonathan, you know, he loves David, he ain't got no beef with him. Now see, Saul saying, you ain't gonna be king. This is not gonna be your kingdom until David is in the ground dead. He says, surely he shall die. So we see anger is developed into strife. It has caused the result of this anger is strife. Psalms 124. Psalms 124. All right. Psalm 124, verse 2. Go ahead.
If it had not been the Lord who was on our side when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick when their wrath was kindled against us.
So if it hadn't been for the Lord, this strife, when these men that had rose up, he says, if it had not been for the Lord who was on our side, when these men rose up, they rose up with this strife, he said they would have swallowed us up quick. Would have swallowed us up quick, and they would have killed us. So this strife, so their anger, for whatever their anger is that is built up, is created strife to the point where they would have killed them if the Lord hadn't been on their side. Proverbs 29. Proverbs 29. And one verse here, verse 22. There's no reason to kill somebody unless you got strife, right? Otherwise, you just crazy. 29 and 22. Go ahead.
An angry man stirreth up strife.
An angry man stirreth up strife. So that's where strife is stirred up because of someone's anger. Go ahead.
And a furious man aboundeth in transgression.
And a furious man is going to abound in transgression. Because you get on that anger, and then you can't see no reason. Proverbs 30 and 33. And then you're just going to stay in transgression. 30 and 33. How's that read?
Surely the churning of milk bringeth forth butter.
So churning with you know what churning is, right? So you churn in the milk, and you do that long enough, and eventually it's going to turn the milk into butter. And what?
And the wringing of the nose bringeth forth blood.
So if I punch, well, I ain't gonna punch Jermaine, he too big. If I punch Alan, I'll punch Alan because he meek. He ain't gonna hit me back. So I punch Alan. I punch Alan in the nose. It's gonna bring blood. It's gonna bring forth blood, right? Natural. That's natural. I ain't gonna punch you, Alan. I love you, bro. So I done lost my place. Oh yes, okay. So and the wringing of the nose bringeth forth blood. So what?
So the forcing of wrath bringeth forth strife.
So the forcing of wrath, you let it go, but you force your anger, you allow your anger to be kindled. Next thing you know, you punch an Allen in the nose and you brought forth strife. Ain't no need for that. There ain't no need for all that. Just let the anger go. Matthew 5. Matthew 5. Don't punch Allen in the nose. No, I'm gonna defend Allen. Matthew 5 and 22. 5 and 22. Go ahead.
But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
Hold on now. Wait a minute. So did I miss something here? Let me see. Make sure I didn't. Am I getting ahead of myself? I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me see here. Matthew 5. But this is huh? Yeah, well, see, this is I'm thinking we went all through those that fast. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what we're looking at here, I'm just did, because what we just going over was the results of anger. They can cause strife, right? All right. So here, in one result of your anger, it can incur God's judgment. This is a result. This is another result of being angry. It can incur God's judgment. So here he says, what verse is that? What?
22.
22. So he said, but I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of judgment. So being angry with someone without having a cause, that could be enough to get you thrown into the fire. Go ahead.
And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire.
So you got so be very careful with your anger, because if the Lord determines that you're angry with this person without a cause, that's trouble. That's trouble, trouble, trouble. Genesis 49. Genesis 49. You don't want the Lord to raise up out that drawer. Genesis 49, verse 5. And verse 5. Now this is Jacob has given his sons a blessing, but the Lord is talking through this. 49 and 5. Go ahead.
Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
So Simeon and Levi, brethren, instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. We know they can be rough. We seen what they did when their sister was I ain't going to argue about that. She was defiled. There you go. That's the better word. She was defiled. So in these cats, a couple of brothers, they don't play. They got instruments of cruelty in their habitations. It said, verse 6.
O my soul, come not thou into their secrets, unto their assembly. Mine honor, be not thou united.
Go ahead.
For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall.
So in their anger they slew a man, and in their anger they did, or self-willed, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. Go ahead, verse 7.
Cursed be their anger.
Cursed be their anger.
For it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob.
Okay, so now here's the judgment. Because of their anger is cruel, their wrath is fierce. Here's the judgment. He says, I will divide them in Jacob, and what?
And scatter them in Israel.
And scatter them in Israel. So they're judged for their cruelty, they're judged for their anger, and judged for their cruelty. So again, being angry can incur the Lord's wrath. James 1. James 1. It's all right. Get mad. Don't break bad. That's not good. James 1 and verse 20. James 1 in verse 20. Go ahead.
For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God.
So the wrath, he said, the wrath of man does not work the righteousness of God. The results of your wrath, how you deal with that, with your wrath, how you lash out is typically not going to be righteous. It's not going to be righteous. Just because I'm mad at Alan and I punch him in the nose, that's not going to be justified. I don't care what the reason, I might be angry, it might have justifiable anger, but if I reach out and I punch him, that is not going to be righteous with the Lord. So you got to be careful what you do with that anger. Be angry and sin not, right? Psalms 4. Now this is actually, well, I just mentioned it, but this Psalms 4 is actually the root of this title. This is actually the root of this title. Psalms 4 and verse 4. 4 and 4. Go ahead.
Stand in awe and sin not.
Stand in awe, he says. Stand in awe, but don't sin. You can get mad, but you better not sin. Go ahead.
Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still.
Yeah, you better lay down and be still. You better lay and get mad, lay down and cool out. Go ahead.
Selah.
All right. So in other words, that is You know, Psalms is more poetic. That's a fancy way of saying what we're getting ready to read here in Ephesians 4 and 26. So let's go there and see Paul, who is rarely any ever saying anything of his own. He's always quoting Old Testament. So this is what he's actually quoting here. 4 and 26. Go ahead.
Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
Simply said, be ye angry and sin not, right? Sin. So that's it, you know, and this is the root, like I said, Psalm 4 and 4 is the root of the title. This is where I'm getting this. Getting mad and breaking bad is not good. So get mad, but don't sin. Get mad, but don't turn all the way down the wrong path. Don't go down the wrong path. Keep your hands to yourself. You know, like I said, don't lay hands on a man suddenly. You know, please don't punch Alan in the nose just to find out what happened. You know, it's going to bleed. I'm gonna tell you that now. You don't have to find out. So Proverbs. So be ye angry and sin not. It's that simple. And don't let the wrath go down on your son. Don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Squash it. You know, it's a good policy if you think about it. You mad about something, and if you only got till sundown to be mad about it, after that you throw it away. You know, that's better, because now you're not coming back the next day on that same kind of mad. You know, you're not arguing over spilt milk. That happened yesterday. Let it be yesterday. You know, that's a better policy than carrying that mad with you all week. I had to, you know, and you know, I'm this lesson really was for me. Y'all were just blessed to be able to sit in on it, because I'm talking to myself. Because I was these last 2 weeks, I've been on a mad, and I'm telling you, you know, I had to tell just yesterday or day before, I had to tell my employee, you know, I had to tell him to do something, and my wife said, "Well, you know, he's gonna be mad." And in my head, I'm thinking, well, he got the same pants to get glad in. I'm, you know, I don't think he's gonna be mad, but I'm the boss. He's supposed to do what the boss say, right? You know. Now I start getting angry. Why he gotta be mad at me? I'm just providing him work. What he gotta be mad at me for? You know, so it's just this week was something else. Satan be on you, boy. I'm telling you. Proverbs 14, 17. We almost done, y'all. Proverbs 14 and 17. The human brain, something else. 14 and 17, come on.
He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly.
So if you get angry, you're one of those to you know, get mad quick. You do something wrong. Now I should have mentioned this. I was already done with the with